We finally got our hands on the new Xplore Screens and the MegaLive2. After recent announcements and our own video that we did on the channel a few weeks ago, I finally got the chance to test the new Humminbird releases in the flesh. Is it really as good as they promised it would be? Let's dive in.
Oh, that's a big one.
Oh,
Ezox. Oh, nee! Wat?
Yeah, that's a big one.
Oh, 17 and a half.
A big one, man.
No way. Yo, this is good. Yo.
This is insane, man. The legend is gone.
wow. Before we continue, I want to clarify that I am one of the pros fishing in Europe that is sponsored by Humminbird. And yes, I am biased, but at the same time I desperately want a product that is competitive. Distorting my feedback and blowing smoke up Hummingbird's ass would not only harm myself but also the entire community that really wants to have a better product. I only agreed on making this video if I could give my honest opinion, the good and the bad. I've always been open about the fact that the original MegaLive was a great tool in down mode, but forward facing it was always lacking quite a bit compared to competitors. Now with that out of the way, let's continue with the video, guys. Today we are out fishing with the new Xplore and the highly anticipated MegaLive2. We are testing it today to see if mainly two things are solved. With the current MegaLive version, bait tracking was kind of difficult. It stopped at like 20 meters, especially for a lot of anglers out there that want to do pelagic casting for zander. Keeping distance between the fish and the boat is highly relevant, but also being able to spot the fish far away. Spotting a zander like 25 meters out or spotting a zander 40 meters out is a big difference, and it makes your fishing a lot more efficient if you can spot the fish further out, position the boat in the right way. So we're going to test today if the range is okay and if the bait tracking is okay. And we're also going to test the landscape modus. We're going to find some shallow water because we are a bit limited in the spots that we can fish today, so I don't get your hopes up that we're going to get a lot of fish today, but we are going to test out the new technology from Humminbird. And I'm also going to show you some features of the new Xplore units with the new UI, the user interface, because not only the Xplore is a big update, but also the current iteration of the Apex and the Solix Gen 3 has new firmware, and there's already a couple of features on it that I'm really happy with. And one noticeable thing is the speed increase. The Xplore unit is fast, but we also notice a speed bump with the new UI on the Apex units and on the Solix units. So we are now in a little cove. It's a protected area from the wind. The wind is really gnarly outside, but we enter this little cove and it's just filled with all these patches of, we call it lettuce on the bottom, but it's all kinds of small grass and leaves where fish can hide underneath. You can see it on the side imaging well building up here. On the landscape mode, you can see it in front of the boat as well. But one really nice feature that we have now is this target boost. When you put the target boost on, it separates these individual targets from the bottom and gives you a way better picture than without the target boost. You can see the difference straight away. And one of the features that I like a lot as well is now that they added these buttons in the lower part of the screen. It doesn't clutter the image. You have you're not sacrificing any screen real estate, so to speak, but you have a button over here where you can do the auto contrast on and off, but you can also change the settings here, but you can also put it on manual contrast and play around with it that way. And the same goes when you put it on forward mode, for instance. You can do the depth and you can do the range with forward mode as well. You can see the letters on the side here on the side imaging, and here it's popping up nicely. There's a lot of grass on the bottom here. Let's do a quick demo if we can see if we can cast and if bait tracking is working. On the edge of the lettuce, and there's my bait coming in. I'm just using a standard soft bait, a mouse. Nice. You can easily tell where your bait is landing in the water, and as you can track it pretty nicely now as well. And for me, the most important thing with using landscape mode is, especially when you're casting on the shallows or you're fishing a bay, that you can actually see if you get feedback from fish, if fish are following. And you can spot the lettuce, the grass on the bottom, those leaves, but you can spot those fish and logs and everything on the bottom as well. So when one of these logs starts to move in the direction of your bait, you know you're getting feedback from fish and that there's fish in the area. And that's the most important thing for me to use this landscape mode, is that you can get that feedback that you're fishing in the right spot. We found a zone where it's 7.5, 8 meters deep, and we're gonna cast with landscape mode and see how well the bait tracking performs. If we can get this little mouse casted like 15 meters out and see if we can track our bait and how well it performs. So let's go. Oh yeah, it's coming up already. Oof, this is so much better. So easier, because in the previous spot we were fishing at like 1.5, 2 meters deep, tops, with a lot of vegetation and stuff on the bottom, trees. But this is so much better. Oh, look at that. Yeah. 16, 17, 18 meters out, almost 20 meters out, and we can still track our bait. But I must say, I like the target boost feature. Let's do it one more time. Oh, it's so clear. Yeah, that's really nice. So we're gonna switch back towards the forward mode. Yeah, like that. All right, nice and windy today. All right, let's see how bait tracking performs now. It's currently at 35 meters. No, there's actually a fish over there. Oh, nice. Yeah. All right, let's give it a go. It's at 25 meters. Oh, I'm a little too short. Yeah, how to see. Well, the bait tracking is really nice. The fish isn't responding, but 25, 27, 28 meters easily. And I'm casting against the wind with a wind-sensitive bait. Oh, we spotted a fish, but it was at first at 20 meters and then I moved to 25 and now it's even at beyond 35. I'm casting a big mouse against the wind, which with this setup, it's not easy to do, but let's see if we can find another one and cast towards it. Maybe we can find some perch and cast with some smaller soft baits. Let's see if we can go beyond 30 meters. $29, is that okay? Let's cast with the wind in the back. Oh. The boat is moving around a little. You are turning with the wind, but that's really easy to track now. See how the bait tracking works with smaller baits. This is a 24 gram spin tail. Yep, 25 meters, easily. There's a fish standing at 15 meters. Oh, a little too far. Using a 24 gram spin tail, which is just a bladed jig. Nope, it's not interested. Oh, that's okay. Ja, zendt hij weer weg. So one thing I noticed with the new Xplore units is that it's fast, it's responsive, and especially when you zoom in and out, I think that's something that most users noticed in the past, that it could get a bit laggy at some points. I think the waypoint management system was, oh yeah, draw to select, that was it. So you can draw and then it selects waypoints. Now I only have a spot lock thing here, but let me create a waypoint really fast. You have a button in the top corner over here. Just a default waypoint. Yeah, let's go. Let me just add one other waypoint and another one with the cursor over here. I'm gonna do a red one over here. Okay, and then we're gonna use the draw to select, and then I have these waypoints over here where I can just say, okay, I want them as fish icons, and I also want to change the colors of all these fish icons to red or orange, or let's do green. That automatically changes all these waypoints. One thing I really liked as well is with the new auto charts. One of my favorite features with Humminbird screens is the auto chart live feature. You can get highly detailed maps even on areas where there's no map available. And in this case, we have a couple of new options with the new UI and the Xplore units. And I think these options are available. I've tested it out on my Apex and it works there as well. Like normally with the current screens, you could change the range, but we have a minimum range and a maximum range. This is nothing new, but you can also slide towards the desired maximum range. In this case, I'm going to just put it on 10 meters, but you can get the intervals set here as well really nicely. So from 0.25 to 0.5 to 1 meter. So the increments, how you can set them incrementally has changed a lot, but you can get them to up to 25 centimeters in depth variations and changes. And especially on certain spots, like when I fish on Holland's Deep, for instance, you have areas where it's 2 meters everywhere, and then it goes to 220, 240, and that little depth variation is usually the area where we find the fish. And now that you can highlight that in a certain way, that you can see those depth variations with your auto chart live, is a really useful feature for me. And even though we are in a really shallow area now, you can see all these variations. Here it's 1 meter and 25 centimeters, and it goes up to 125 to a meter. Now we move towards the outside, 125, 175, 2 meters, and then you see the drop off over here where it goes down, and you see way more lines and way more detail on how the drop off is building up or dropping down. You have your free customizable buttons. You can put your sonar pinging on and off. You can, I haven't tested it yet, but you can switch on and off your auto chart, which were really, really nice. So if you're gonna drive full speed, switch it off. And when you arrive at the spots, switch it on with one of these customizable buttons. The user interface looks different, but at the same time easy to use. It doesn't take a rocket science to figure out where the certain features are. You have your views, and they are divided in these subcategories. And when you go to your MegaLive, for instance, then you have your MegaLive1, and then you have a separate tab for your MegaLive2. But if you create customizable views, for instance, let's do that quickly. Let's go back to the home screen. Let's get a new view. Let's get a view with your charts, with your 2D, with your down and your. But if I go back now towards my charts, then I have my customized view already saved over there, so you don't need to find it again or go all the way back towards the views menu where you had your customizable views. You can find it back straight away. The screen itself is noticeably thinner. It's really a light and compact unit. It only has 4, I think. Let me double check real quick before I say something stupid. Yeah, it only has 4 connections, and the screens, most of all, are noticeably different in speed, way faster, and also the brightness has increased. So on sunny days, it's easier to see what's going on your screen. Now, the new MegaLive has changed a lot. You can see that it has a bulge on top of here. You have one button to push over here. You can fold it out. When you want to fold it back in, just push these 2 on the side. The bracket itself is way more rugged, so you don't have that much flex as you used to have. And really nice to have white letters on the side, so you can easily swap it around from forward mode towards down mode. And again, all the way back, open it up, close it down again. Alright, final thoughts. I am happy with what I'm seeing so far after a day of testing the MegaLive2 and the Xplore unit. And more testing will be done once I get my own units installed. I haven't covered down mode in this video, mainly because it was working great on the original MegaLive. I can state, however, that the MegaLive2 can be used in combination with the MegaLive1 without any interference. You will get a crystal clear picture on both units without any interference. There is also a feature to calibrate your MegaLive2. We haven't tested it yet, but in theory it should allow you to get an even better picture. We have to check it once I get my own units installed. So, recapping, bait tracking is a lot easier now. You can look way further than you could do with the original MegaLive. Spotting fish at 40 meters or beyond is now finally possible. Small baits are now way easier to track too, and landscape is something I will finally be using. It looked good, especially on deep water. I was surprised how well you can track your baits. And I can imagine it working on sandy bays. I can imagine it working in sandy bays too. With the debris on the bottom, it was a bit harder, but I understand why with all the lettuce growing there. But I was still able to track my bait, though it was a lot easier with target boost on above deeper water, as we tested it in both 2 meters of depth on the lettuce spot and 7 meters of depth. I will be using this especially on my target log when casting on structures in Sweden this spring, because I think it will be really handy to be able to track your bait and see if fish are following. The new firmware runs well on both Solix and Apex, with some minor bugs that I found, but no real showstoppers. The only thing I'm bummed out about is that my Apex doesn't seem to work with HDMI out, and that's why my external recorder couldn't work and we had to film the screens themselves. Solix and Apex seem to have differences in display detail on certain views, like the instruments view or the tab controlling your oil tracks. To my knowledge, this will be addressed in a future firmware update. I hope this will also fix the issue with HDMI out on my Apex, so I can show you some proper screen recordings and put the new setup to the full test this winter. Expect my full review somewhere around the second week of February. Thanks for watching guys. If you have any questions, drop them down below and I'll see you in the next one.